Well, hello and welcome back to the Tao Manifesting Tarot. This is the weekend edition. It is called the Tao Trifecta. Trifecta meaning we look at three different areas of your life. Every week, at the beginning of the week, we take a look at the week ahead, the energies for health, wealth, and happiness. Pretty important things, right? So we have this thing divided so that the card on the bottom is clarified by the card above it. So we start on the left, and the oracle card for your health, time for a nap. Okay, that would seem self-evident. We're talking about health, napping. Latest information says, yep, a nap, 20 minutes, half hour, is really good for you, middle of the day. The idea of the siesta, very smart. And yet, in Western culture, is determined to turn us into a machine or robot. We got rid of siestas. And I think in most of Europe, they've gotten rid of them as well. And maybe a few holdouts. But it makes sense in the middle of the day, take a break. 20 minutes, half hour. Just relax, chill, snooze. It's good for your brain, good for your productivity. It really works in everybody's benefit. You know, it's amazing. When you treat people fairly, when you treat people decently, you get more out of people. And yet business, the corporate fascists that run the world, they haven't figured that out. They want you to be a robot. Take a look at Amazon. It is well known that the people who work, especially in the warehouse, but I think the drivers too, are pretty much under pressure to the point where they have to pee in a bottle. They can't stop. If there's something more serious in terms of going to the bathroom, that's almost an impossibility over an 8, 9-hour shift, 10-hour shift. Well, we got to maximize productivity. We got to make Jeff Bezos richer Yet, taking a nap, a little siesta, makes you more productive. Well, that's not part of the corporate fascist agenda. So now the universe is telling you for your health, take a nap. And it's not simply for your physical health. It's also your mental health, your spiritual health. The take a nap thing means step back. Don't engage. Relax and just go with the flow. It doesn't mean you have to do what they want. It just means quit fighting, quit resisting, and find your own comfort spot, your own, if you will, an old term, your own G-spot, men and women. And to emphasize this idea of taking a nap, we have the Seven of Swords. Swords are thoughts, ideas. The Seven is often thought as somebody who's stealing something, you know, after a battle. He's a sneaky kind of a guy. The fact of the matter is when we're talking about manifesting, I look at the Seven of Swords as somebody who is taking the ideas, the 5 swords. These are what he knows is true. The other 2 he's leaving behind, doesn't want them. And it's interesting that there are just 2 swords. Anytime there are 2 cups, 2 swords, 2 wands, 2 pentacles, always decision. 2 is decision. He's made the decision to leave the game, to get out of the game, to take a nap. And that's what you need to do for your life in the upcoming week. The energy's there. You want to use it or not is up to you. Middle card up front deals with your wealth. And again, wealth in these readings, and especially with me, does not equate to money. If that's what you think, you are immersed in a game you can never win. Even if you get rich. Rich people are afraid that people are going to take away their money. Rich people are generally, in fact, I would go so far as to say just about every time, very insecure people. That's why they got to have all these things around them, all this money, all this power. Because I'm really a piece of junk, but if I got the money, ooh. For example, how many times in the course of a day do you think a billionaire hears the word no? How many times? And maybe not even from their spouse or children. Although, I find that hard to believe. But that might be the only connection. People tell billionaires what they want to hear, right? And so we're talking about wealth in a much broader sense, happiness, health. You can't buy health, you die. All of us die, so that money doesn't work there. You can't buy purpose, you can't buy peace, you can't buy love or loyalty or friendship. You can't buy those things. So if you stay in the system where you are, I mean, for my Christian friends, Jesus, I think, said, be in the world, but not of it. And that's just a perfect situation. Yeah, you got to make your money, you got to pay your bills, you got to eat. Okay, fine. Do what you got to do that. But do not buy into the system. It is a system you cannot win. You are playing Monopoly. They own the board. They make up the rules. And they change them anytime they want. Some scary stuff potentially going to go on in Europe at the end of summer, where they're going to close down the internet unless you think and say and feel what they want you to. Yeah, seriously, they're talking about, I think it's August 25th, shutting down the internet. They don't want the truth to get out. They don't want you to think for yourself. John D. Rockefeller, who was one of the scurrilous people on the planet ever, said, this is a quote, I want people who work, not people who think. That's why he designed our education system, so that you graduate dumb people. If you look around, he did a pretty good job. Also designed, by the way, Big Pharma, and we know what that's out. So to stay in the system and to be part of the system is just going round and round and round, coming out nowhere. The card up above it, 8 of Cups, you got to leave the system. I know you're connected. I know you're attached. 8 of Cups for me, by the way, Cups for me does not mean romantic love or even physical love. What it means is I am attached to this person, this idea, this thing. I am comfortable with it. And so this idea of this system and going round and round and round, chasing your tail like a cat or dog, and getting nothing, going nowhere, you got to back out of the system. 8 of Cups. Walk away from it. I know it's scary because you don't know what you could replace it with. But you'll figure it out. And in fact, I believe sincerely that if things continue the way they are, and we don't put a major stop in it, you're going to be forced to find a new way. You won't have a choice. Still, to this moment, you have the opportunity of choice. Take it for your wealth, your real wealth. Alrighty, we go all the way to the right now, and this is your happiness, higher power. Very potent energy in all of us. There is at our core, at our essence, the power of life, the power of positivity, the power of hope, hopefulness, the power of possibility. But that's taken away from us very early. If you've been a parent, you know that one of the most exciting times in your life is when your baby starts to walk, or talk, or both. And no sooner do they get to school than to shut up, sit down. They go to high school, shut up, sit down. College, shut up, sit down. Work, shut up, sit down. As a citizen, shut up, sit down. So to tap into this essence of you, this God essence in you, this higher power, you have to make a decision. And the card up top is the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is making that decision. 9 of Wands is determination, stamina, courage, persisting in spite of setbacks, and doing it with enthusiasm, because that's what the Wands are all about, enthusiasm. It's not simply spectating, watching your life passing by in front of you and doing nothing. It's getting out on the field. Doesn't mean that you have to be a big wheeler dealer and all that kind of stuff. No, in your own life. And this is where having a sense, true sense of value, of true value, comes in. If you know what's important to you, if you know what your pentacles really are, Not what you've been told, not what you've been given, but you have found and discovered for yourself. What's really important to you? Is it that friend? Is it that lover? Is it that freedom? Is it that health? What is really, really important? If you know that, you can go forward, tap into your higher power, and live a life where you are participating, not simply spectating. Which is the whole point of these tarot manifesting readings, is to inspire you to take charge of your life. It's much easier than what you believe because you've been convinced that you are nothing on your own. That's not true. Do you know, and I've heard this or read this from several sources, different sources, that about 3% of the population supported the American Revolution? That was all it took, 3%. It was a battle, it was tough, but we won. It doesn't take much to turn the tide, and you can do it in your life. Those are the energies for the week ahead, the Tao Trifecta. Back tomorrow with our usual manifested readings. I hope you're there to join me. If not, between now and the next time we get together, peace and blessings.